Hello guys, my name is Desmond and I welcome you to my lesson for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I assume at this point in time everyone knows that a day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. By so saying, ladies and gentlemen, please do make sure that by the end of each and every lesson that I conduct, you learn something new. Okay, so guys, this will be our very first lesson where we review a mathematics paper 1 May or June 2021 exam paper. So ladies and gentlemen, it's very much important that in preparation for your mid-year exams, you listen very carefully. When necessary, you write some notes. Okay, so guys, I assume the audio is very well. So it seems to be raining outside, but I will try by all means to make sure that my voice outstands, that of the rain. So ladies and gentlemen, at all times, please do make sure that you carefully read the questions. Okay, so this means your question 1 is most likely to look similar to this one. So obviously guys, as you can see, we've got question 1 where you are required to solve for x. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, when you write, it's very much important that you write question 1. Okay, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. You can write question 1 on the next line, 1.1. It doesn't really matter that much if you write or don't write solve for x, but in most cases, myself, I prefer to write solve for x. Then I start with my first question, ladies and gentlemen, 1.1.1. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, at all times, it's very much important that you follow the order in which the question paper is given. Okay, in this way, you stand a very good chance of making sure that your answer sheet is very neat and very easy to work on. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, for the purpose of this lesson, I just want to take you through the steps in which you approach this type of questions. Okay, let's have a look at question 1.1.1. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, you're given an instruction, okay, where they say solve for x. What does it mean, ladies and gentlemen? It means your final answer for 1.1.1, 1.1.2, 1.1.3, 1.1.4. Ladies and gentlemen, in the end, you should be having x is equals to whatever that you calculated. Very much important, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because the question says solve for x. Okay, so in this case, examiner wants nothing else but solve for x. Very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's have a look at how you would approach this type of questions, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously, you're given an equation. What type of equation is this? Is it a quadratic equation, ladies and gentlemen? Is it a linear equation, ladies and gentlemen? It seems to be a quadratic equation. Why am I saying it seems to be a quadratic equation, ladies and gentlemen? It's because of that x squared. Okay, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. The other question that I'm going to ask myself, is it in the standard form? Ladies and gentlemen, remember guys, when you're given an equation, for it to be in the standard form, it should be a standard form of a squared plus bx plus c, and all of this should be equated to 0. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if the given equation satisfies that part, then it means it's in the standard form. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, obviously, if it was equated to a number which is not 0, let's say for instance it was equated to -8. Okay, so obviously it would mean you need to move it to the other side of the equal sign and work it out until it's in the standard form. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. But in this case, you can see it's in the standard form. Okay, so what does it mean when it's in the standard form, ladies and gentlemen? It means straight away you can just factorize. You factorize, okay, and equate it to 0, and finally you give two answers of x. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. I assume you fully understand how to approach this type of questions, ladies and gentlemen. In terms of the marks, obviously you are given 3 marks, ladies and gentlemen. This question is allocated 3 marks. Okay, so it means whatever that you'll be doing, ladies and gentlemen, they are only interested in 3 of your steps. Okay, it could be that you'll score some marks for correct factors, and again for the x value they might give you a mark, and again for the other x value they might give you a mark. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I assume you fully understand that part. So now let's move to the next question. Question 1.1.2. okay guys, same questions applies. Is this a linear equation or a quadratic equation? Ladies and gentlemen, it seems to be a quadratic equation, okay, because of that. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So now is it already in the standard form? Guys, it seems to be in the standard form, ladies and gentlemen. Plus bx plus c already it's equated to 0. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So now what you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, obviously guys, it's very, very much important to take into consideration all the given information. In this case, they say correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, so to me it serves as an indication that in this case, ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to stress about finding the factors, okay, because my x values or my final values are in a form of decimal. Okay, why am I saying this, ladies and gentlemen? Is because of this statement, correct to 2 decimal places. Okay guys, remember this type of questions are normally given either 3 or 4 marks. Okay, it all depends on the complexity of the question. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, very, very much important that you know the formula to use to answer this question. I'm just quickly going to try and show you guys. Remember guys, we've got a formula where x is equals to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of this divided by 2a. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be able to identify your a value, your b value, and your c value. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously from that equation, your a value, it should be 3, your b value, it should be negative 2, and your c value, it should be negative 6. Ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing is for you to substitute in brackets. Okay, at all times, ladies and gentlemen, when you use a formula, try to substitute in brackets. Okay, in that way you are able to notice what's given as part of the formula versus what you'll be substituting. For example guys, you can see you've got a negative sign over there, which is originally from the equation. So that means when you substitute your b value, ladies and gentlemen, you substitute as negative 2. Okay, you substitute as negative 2. Your a value, obviously it's positive 3, it's positive 3, and your c value, ladies and gentlemen, it's negative 6. Okay, so you can just punch all of this on a calculator and get the first x value. But remember, you need to first start with a positive, then you get the x value where you used positive over there. Okay, then you go back to your calculator, ladies and gentlemen. You can just change to a negative value, then you get the second x value where you use a negative value. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen, that you fully understand that part. Let's see, where is our question paper? Is there, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's see, guys. I think I've explained enough in relation to that question 1.1.2. So now let's have a look at the next question, ladies and gentlemen. So remember, guys, obviously if this question is allocated 4 marks, okay, you're most likely to perform multiple steps until you get to your 2x values, ladies and gentlemen. Most importantly, correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, so you're most likely to get either 1 mark or 2 marks for both answers. Okay, and the other mark might be coming from the correct substitution, and again the other mark might be coming from from simplification. So that means you need to substitute into the formula, you simplify, and then you give correct 2 values of x which are corrected to 2 decimal places. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's have a look at question number, question number 1.1.3. okay, so guys, this is what we call quadratic inequality. Okay, quadratic inequality. So ladies and gentlemen, at all times you should be aware of the given sign over there. Okay, remember, guys, we've got greater than, it's equals to, we've got less than, or it's equals to. So ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very much important that at all times you take into consideration the original sign given on the equation. Okay, so obviously, guys, because let me just try to remove all of that information and explain this to you guys. Remember, there's a lesson that I've done where I teach what we call BITMAS, well known as BODMAS, but I call it BITMAS for some other reasons, ladies and gentlemen. I would encourage you to check out that lesson because it teaches you in terms of where to start when you're given an equation. For example, guys, as you can see that equation over there, you've got 2 of, this is greater than 9, you've got 2 of x minus 1, x minus 1. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously you need to expand or remove the brackets. That multiplied by that, that multiplied by that, that multiplied by that, that multiplied by that. Okay, so obviously, guys, you're going to have a quadratic inequality, okay, which is greater than 9. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you move this 9 to the other side of that sign. Okay, so remember, it changes a sign. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. You work it out. After you've worked it out, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have x squared something greater than 9. Greater than 0, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it greater than 0? Is because obviously you've worked out with that 9 being on the other side of the equation. Okay, so now that it's equated to 0, ladies and gentlemen, remember, guys, this is the inequality. Okay, it's a quadratic inequality. You need to find what we call a critical values. Okay, you need what we call critical values, and then from there, that's where you've got a number line based on your critical values, then you'll be able to tell for which values of x the whole of that is greater than 0. So ladies and gentlemen, remember guys, at all times, let me say in most cases when I review these question papers, ladies and gentlemen, specifically exam question papers, I make sure that I provide full lessons where I solve these questions. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you need to check it out, you can just go to my website. I assume everyone knows my website, ladies and gentlemen, www.solvingexampapers.co.za. So obviously this is a maths it's a maths question paper, so it should be under the tab for mathematics. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. Please do make sure that you make use of your time to try and find out where these videos are loaded on my website. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let me not go deep into that one, assuming that you will check out that lesson. Guys, let's move to 1.1.4. okay, so ladies and gentlemen, 1.1.4, obviously you're given an equation where you might need to remove that square root. Okay, so you need to be very careful when you approach this type of questions, ladies and gentlemen, taking into account that it's allocated 4 marks. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, for questions which are allocated 3 to 4 marks, they are not that much complicated. Okay, but when a question is given at least 5 marks, ladies and gentlemen, you need to apply your mind. Okay, and most importantly, try by all means to show all the necessary steps. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's move on with this question, guys. So obviously guys, in most cases you want to remain with a number that has a square root on one side of the equal sign. Okay, so you also need to have everything else on the other side of the equal sign. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm simply saying it would be best to remain with 2 square root of whatever it's equals to x, then move that 2 to the other side. Remember, it changes a sign. Okay, so why would you do this, ladies and gentlemen? It's because the main aim is to remove the square root. Okay, very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, as soon as you remove the square root, what matters the most is for you to square that 2 as well. Okay, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 1,000, whatever number it is, you need to square both that number and again the square root. So that's how you remove the square root, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so guys, as soon as you removed the square root, then you've got 2 into whatever that was inside the square root, and again you've got 2 of this. Remember guys, because of that squared, then it means you've got 2 of those, which is x minus 2, x minus 2. Okay, you work it out, you also work out this one, ladies and gentlemen, so that you move everything, guys, everything on the right, you move it to the left and work it out such that you remain with x squared whatever plus bx whatever c, then it's equated to 0. Okay, as soon as you have a quadratic equation in the standard form, ladies and gentlemen, that's when you can find the factors. Okay, why do you need to find the factors, ladies and gentlemen? Is because in the end the question says solve for x. Okay, so in the end you must tell what are the values of x. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. I assume you fully understand that part. Remember guys, this is just to give you a hint so that you try these questions by yourself, and then from there, in case if you fail, you can refer to the lessons where I solve these questions. Okay, remember, the purpose of this lesson, ladies and gentlemen, is just to conduct a review of these question papers. So guys, let's now move to the next question. Obviously, guys, you're still required to solve for x, but in this case you need to solve simultaneously for the value of x and y. Okay, most importantly, guys, please do write 1.2. okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very much important that you follow the numbering system used in the question paper. Okay, obviously, guys, let me just say, in most cases, you just say maybe 4x plus y is equals to 2 and refer this as equation number 1. Okay, and I think this was the second equation, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is the second equation. Guys, yours is to come up with the third equation. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. Yours is to come up with the third equation. Okay, so guys, between these two given equations, which one can you use to come up with the third equation, ladies and gentlemen? You need to check between these two which one is a bit complex. Okay, so you just need that equation which has a variable which doesn't have a coefficient. For example, guys, there it's the x variable, there's a coefficient which is 4. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, same applies there. You've got x, coefficient is 4. Okay, in this case you've got y, the coefficient is 1 over there, but you can see that squared, it might be a bit of a problem. Okay, it seems like this is a variable which doesn't have it actually has a coefficient, it's 1y. Okay, but obviously we know this is the same as y, so this is what we can use in order to make the subject of the formula. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, obviously to come up with your third equation, you can have y remaining on the left side of the equal sign. You equate this 2, you write 2 because 2 is already there, you're only moving a 4x. Okay, remember guys, it changes a sign. Obviously there it's positive. Okay, so it changes a sign, then it becomes negative or minus 4x. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is your equation number 3. Okay, so normally some would say substitute equation 3 into equation 2, ladies and gentlemen. So in short, it means where you see y, substitute 2 minus 4x. Okay, remember guys, at all times when you substitute, make sure that you substitute in brackets. Okay, so obviously you might be having something like 4x. Okay, was it a plus into I think it was 2 minus 4x. Remember guys, remember that squared over there. Okay, and this was equated to 8. Ladies and gentlemen, obviously you've got 2 of this. Obviously it's plus 4x over there. You can just move 8 to the other side and equate this to 0. Okay, and you work out everything until you've got a standard form, ladies and gentlemen, until you've got a standard form of whatever b, x, whatever c value that you get, it's equal to 0. Then you get the factors, then you use the final factors to substitute into either equation 1 or equation 3, so that you calculate the y values, ladies and gentlemen. So guys, I think let me also not go deep into that, because obviously there's a lesson where I'm solving this in detail, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so guys, remember, in this case we're solving simultaneously for x and y. Okay, so that means your final answers should provide the values of x. If we do have a more than one value of x, you should tell us what are those values, and again use these x values to tell us what are the y values. Okay, or otherwise vice versa, ladies and gentlemen. You might need to firstly find the y values and use the y values to find the x values. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so guys, let's see. Now let's move to the other question, okay, which is 1.3. Ladies and gentlemen, very, very much important to write that 1.3. Okay, they say if it is given that 2x squared multiplied by 3y, it's equals to 24 to the exponent 6. Okay, determine over there, ladies and gentlemen, determine the numerical value of x minus y. Ladies and gentlemen, this question is allocated 4 marks. Okay, what exactly is expected of you, ladies and gentlemen? They want you to determine the numerical value. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, a numerical value, it could be 0, it could be 2, it could be negative 10, it could be 200. Whatever number, ladies and gentlemen, that you get, it's what we call a numerical value, which is what the question wants you to calculate. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what numerical value? The numerical value of x minus y. Okay, so you might find that from this given equation, ladies and gentlemen, you need to calculate the value of x. Let's say it's 4, for example, and again you need to calculate the value of y. Let's say is 3, for example, ladies and gentlemen. From there, as soon as you calculated these values, then you need to indicate to say x minus y, it's equals to, what is the x value, ladies and gentlemen? It's 4 minus 3, which is equals to 1. Okay, so guys, 1 is the numerical value of x minus y. Okay, so a numerical value, ladies and gentlemen, it's exactly what the question wants you to calculate. Okay, to not in the end find your final answer in the form of x and y. Okay, please do make sure that you give a numerical value of what? Of x minus y. Which x, ladies and gentlemen? You can see you've got x over there, you've got y over there, ladies and gentlemen. So that means somehow you need to calculate the value of x and y from that given equation. Very, very much important, ladies and gentlemen. So guys, this brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time I sign out. So guys, my name is Desmond, and I'm out.